Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
So I did a video about 4 months ago, just regarding how I thought issues were going with the police, Queensland Police in particular. One episode I split into two. It was called "We Broke It, Now We Can Fix It." In my opinion, the Queensland Police leadership have caused a lot of the issues that we're seeing within the Queensland Police Service. There is a ineptitude when it comes to leading, inability to actually lead the staff, uh, inability to make decisions. But an even bigger issue is that they have caused a lot of the problems. So over the last couple of years, we've seen them make decisions which have really have broken the spirit of a lot of officers. Obviously, when it comes to forced Charlie Victor mandates, standing people down without pay for long periods of time, refusing to acknowledge the harm that they've caused officers, the distress that they've caused police. The list goes on. It goes on. So I think a lot of the issues that we see with policing at the moment, this blame can be laid at the police, at the feet of the leadership. So that's why I did the episodes about we broke it, now we can fix it. So obviously QPS have come up with this other scheme where they've decided, hey, we're going to recruit people from overseas because they haven't been able to recruit enough Australians. So obviously you should go to the international recruitment and move on to that and see who you can get from overseas. So look, there's basically two stories I want to talk about here. That's the first one. It's so we'll go through this a little bit. They've had some luck. They've had a little bit of luck. Who would have thought that people from overseas would want to come and live in Queensland and get paid a good wage, especially let's read these details. I can't believe the lack of training that they are going to be giving these recruits. Absolutely ludicrous. Anyway, this headline, it came out last week, I think it was. So Queensland Police received thousands of expressions of interest from people overseas to join the service. Yeah. Anyway, so 15,000 people from overseas have expressed interest in joining the Queensland Police following its global recruitment drive. Under an agreement struck between the state and federal governments, the QPS has approval for 500 international recruits to join the service each year for 5 years. 500 every year for 5 years. That's 2,500 recruits, obviously. You're not dumb, you know that. 2,500 recruits. That's a large proportion of international recruits when you consider how many we've got. Somewhere between I think it's somewhere between 12,000 to 15,000. I think 15,000 might be the total number of QPS employees, and you got a bit less than that who are actual officers. And it's around something like, I'll get the exact numbers later, but it's around the 12,000 mark that's actually out there on the road, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, whatever. I'm just, anyway. So when you think about that, if you've got 2,500 from overseas now, going on, says, the commissioner said 314 applicants are already in the pipeline since the program kicked off in February. We hope to get the first of those in the academy by October, she said. We've had interest from everywhere: Singapore, Fiji, South Africa, across the world. And this is already without really starting to advertise in other countries. She goes on to say, I think we'll easily fill that 500 each year for the next 5 years. Federal, this, crikey, so many issues I can see with this. Let's also remember that we in Australia also currently have a housing issue. We have even in this area where I live, which used to be you could get a rental very easily at a really good, reasonable rate. Now to get a rental, you're looking at $700 a week, and it's virtually impossible. I know people that have had to move back in with their parents. Adults with children have to move back in with their parents because they're unable to get housing, and yet QPS. Let's just add to the issue another. Anyway, it's a whole other story, I suppose. So 15,000 people have made expressions of interest, recognising what an attractive place Queensland is to make a life for someone in their family, he said. Oh, yeah, them and the rest of flipping Australia at the moment. The recruits would complete a fast-tracked 4-month training course instead of the usual 8 months at the academy. 8 months? That doesn't sound right. I thought recruit training was, let's have a look, service training. So on the police Queensland government site, service training, well, they say recruit training is a 6-month course that can be completed at either the Brisbane or Townsville campus. Okay. Who's saying this? 8-month course. Federal Immigration Minister, I think he said. Or was that? Oh, anyway, so it's not an 8-month course. Anyway, but however long they're saying it is, I think they've got their facts wrong with the 8 months. But in 4 months, I mean, I know they've supposedly got policing experience. However, you've got people who I met a few officers come in from overseas. I remember we had someone do a ride along with us, a German police officer. Their policing was very different to ours. If you've got someone who's then decided, hey, I'm coming from Germany, or someone coming from South Africa, extremely different policing over in South Africa than it is in Australia, and you're going to rush their training through in 4 months. Anyway, I remember meeting police officers from Tonga, and they were here doing some extra training alongside our officers, and with our military, I think it was. And their style of policing extremely different. Extremely different. There was virtually nothing in common, really, other than the fact that you're upholding the law in your country. There's nothing similar to their style of policing. So if they're going to be cutting back the training to only 4 months to people who aren't even from the country, merely because they've got policing experience in their country, I can see there's going to be problems. And then we're going to have 2,500 of these people. Okay. Anyway, so what else we got here? They already have that in their background, those skills, the knowledge, those requirements that we have. So it is extraordinary advantage to have this agreement in place to target these people. You got police coming from extremely diverse areas, people coming from very diverse areas. And what do they have? What skills do they have in there? This is infuriating. I just think it's going to cause a lot of problems here. So speaking of problems, I want to run over this and see, obviously, this is something that came up the other week with these emails that have been leaked. These emails that have been leaked by senior sergeant in the Gold Coast. Have a listen to this.
Explosive emails from a senior officer have laid bare the desperation of some within the Queensland Police Service, describing a chronic lack of resources, with 3 in 4 calls to police for help going unanswered.
Senior Sergeant Aaron Ottaway, a well-respected Gold Coast District Duty officer with years on the beat, now at breaking point. In leaked emails obtained by the Courier Mail from Ottaway to his superiors, he writes, "The QPS is asking too much of me. There are so many jobs and competing interests that I'm losing my mind." In one shift, he says 90 of 122 calls for help went unanswered. He told his bosses he fears making a mistake that will have a high consequence.
I think that they were legitimate concerns about safety and wellbeing of our members, and as I said, I take that seriously.
Former Superintendent Jim Keogh battled bikies and criminals with him for years.
The reality is when Aaron Ottaway speaks about resources or he speaks about crime problems or operational issues, no matter what rank you were, you listened. He had the expertise.
Ottaway is under internal investigation over the tactics used by his officers during this pursuit at Broadbeach in May. Keogh believes Ottaway could be subject to further inquiries by senior police as a result of his outspoken comments in relation to resourcing. Queensland Police refutes those claims. And
just on this thing, Keogh has said that he thinks Ottawa would be could be subject to further disciplinary action. Now QPS have declined, or they've said no, that's not going to happen. The Queensland Police always hold it. In my experience, they hold it over your head that they can continue on with disciplinary action in the future if they deem it's necessary, for whatever reason, just down the track, just so you know. They will hold it over your head. We're seeing that happen, that playing out now because of recent events. And, they can deny it all they want. Let's just listen to that quickly again, that part there.
Inquiries by senior police as a result of his outspoken comments in relation to resourcing. Queensland Police refutes those claims and has no plans to find out who leaked the emails.
Yeah, they have no plans. That doesn't mean that they won't do it down the future just in case something else goes wrong. If something else comes up, well, we had no plans, but plans change when it comes to QPS leadership.
He's got a gripe. It wouldn't be based on Aaron Ottaway. It would be based on the welfare of the workers around him, and it would be based on the welfare of the community.
Ottaway says a lack of resources is leading to frustrated members of the public chasing offenders rather than calling police, detailing one example where an off-duty officer rang for help but no one was available. The Gold Coast Police boss admitting the issues raised led to changes. 7 News has reached out to Ottaway for comment.
You have to continually evolve and improve and get better.
Putting police numbers back in the political spotlight.
There are 72 fewer police on the road than over 2 years ago.
We have active campaigns out there to recruit more police.
With more.
Yep. Active campaigns to recruit more police. And they're all going to come from overseas. So like I said, 2,500 in the next 5 years. And I bet you, because there still won't be enough people coming from Queensland, they will just keep extending that. I think this might push into some other issues. For the last couple of years, there's been conspiracies about Australian government bringing in the United Nations to help with policing and military issues. Is this the start of it? We can see these issues deteriorating within the Queensland Police. We know crime is spiraling. We know juveniles. We can see juveniles just seem to get away with anything and everything. And the police, well, not the police, but QPS leadership decided, hey, the best way around this is to get people from overseas to come and help because we broke it. We broke the police. We broke the people that work with us, for us. We treated them like rubbish. We treated our own people like rubbish. And so the way that we will fix it is get people in from overseas. It's going to be some problems. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel the desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring got my eye on the